What's up, everybody? Eric Kane here, Volquest.com. Some quick post-game reactions. Tennessee season ends at the hands of the Arkansas Razorbacks in Game 2 of Super Regional play here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. 11-4, the final score. And the story of this one's not really challenging. There, it's the the top. I guess it's the bottom of the third. Yeah, Tennessee's the home team again. Postseason rules make no sense, but Tennessee's the home team. So in the bottom of the third, Tennessee loads the bases, no outs, and just like what happened in the third inning against Wake Forest on Monday night. Tennessee loads the bases, no outs, gets one run out of that. And you just know you're sitting there, it's like, okay, that's going to come back and bite you. And, ultimately it didn't because the deficit was so large in this one, but Tennessee only able to get one run in that bottom of the third inning. That was a big missed opportunity. And then you go to the top of the fourth when Arkansas responds with a 5 spot for those runs coming off a grand slam, given up by A.J. Russell. But it's interesting, of course, I say the turning point in the game because you had Liam Doyle, who's been your ace, who's probably going to win National Pitcher of the Year, finalist for the Dick Hauser Award, the Golden Spikes Award, so on and so forth, you name it, what award he's up for. And he's struggled against Arkansas. They have tagged him for some runs, going back to his start in the regular season, to end the regular season here. But you want to, the ride or die mentality, right? And Tony Vitello said, ride or die Dean Curley, and he's always got his players' backs. And it's, obviously Tony and Frank were doing what they thought was, best in terms of matchup and all that. But you can't help but wonder, hindsight 2020, I recognize that. It's so much easier to talk after the decision's been made. But you go back and say, well, why don't you leave Liam Doyle in there to try to find the last out there in the fourth inning? 2 outs on the scoreboard. Instead, you intentionally walk to load the bases. You take Liam Doyle out, who, again, he wasn't as sharp as he could be. He labored the entire time. Pitch count was up. But you take him out at 73, and you go and you play matchup on matchup, bring in a freshman and Braden Krenzel to Vahiba Aloy, who's another one of those Golden Spikes guys. End up a wild pitch off the, from Braden Krenzel, allows a run to come in. Then he plunks Aloy to load the bases again. Then they go get Russell, and then there's the grand slam. So, again, hindsight's 2020. I recognize that. But the ride or die mentality, why not ride with your best player to go and find one more out and then maybe reassess heading in the fourth inning, or the fifth inning. But, that was the turning point of the game. That was the story of this baseball game. And, outside of that, Tennessee fell down at one point 11-2. Kind of came back there in the ninth inning. Some of the young guys getting in there. Jay Abernathy, a 2-run home run, his first career home run. Chris Newstrom smoked a double. So, Tony kind of said it, if you want any positive sign, the cupboard ain't bare. Future's bright with kind of what Jay and Chris and some of these other guys were doing in this game. So it's disappointing. I'm going to write about it tomorrow morning and how this, the yearly, how this team should be remembered piece, right? But this is a team that was so talented, so talented. It was also frustrating in terms of not correcting some mistakes throughout the year. But it's a team that tried hard. It's a team that worked. It's a team that loved to be around each other and. As usually is the case, last game of the season, an emotional locker room there, an emotional Tony Vitello. So it's unfortunate that the season comes to an end here. But again, going back to what Tony Vitello said last week, you can't demand dominance. You can demand consistency. And that's what Tennessee's been. This is the 5th straight Super Regional that Tennessee's been in. Tennessee won the national championship a season ago. This will be the first time in 3 seasons that Tennessee's not going to Omaha for the College World Series. You know what I'm saying? The consistency is there. Just had a bad week offensively for the most part here at Baum-Walker Stadium. So, story of the game, that third inning not coming up as you should for Tennessee's offense. Into the fourth inning, a 5-run spot for Arkansas. One swing of the bat, it was a grand slam, and it's kind of all she wrote. And, we're done here in terms of games played in the 2025 season. What's next? Well, Tony Vitello says we got to go get some guys. Portal season is coming up. We're going to be following that along. Obviously we already am. Going to continue to follow that starting tomorrow. Tennessee's going to host several guys this week. We'll work to bring you updated information on all that. Unfortunate to lose, to a team like Arkansas that has a very proud, tradition and, meant something to Tony as well. And the fan base is kind of going back and forth and all that. But that's just kind of how it is here this weekend. And offensively, not a very good weekend for Tennessee. But overall, still 2 wins away from Omaha. No consolation prizes. But, again, this is a very, very great, right? Very, very good baseball program. So, unfortunate that it ended this way. The 5-run spot in the fourth inning was kind of all she wrote. And we'll move on to the off-season mode. But I appreciate you guys for following along all the coverage this week, this year. Can't thank you enough for that. And we'll continue to hit that transfer portal grind starting this week. From Fayetteville, Arkansas, Tennessee falls 11-4, Game 2 of the Fayetteville Super Regional. I'm Eric Kane here at Volquest.com.